Welcome to the Cavalier Sports Report. I'm here with sprint coach Tom Lester. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
So the outdoor regionals are coming up this weekend. What are some of your goals for your squad during the outdoor regionals?
Well, on the men's side, we're trying to win the outdoor title. We won the men's title in the indoor season. Hadn't done that for a few years, so we're trying to win both the the men's title both indoors and out. The women are trying to make history here at JCCC. Something called the Triple Crown. In different events, you have the Triple Crown in horse racing, you have the Triple Crown in baseball. Well, there's a Triple Crown here for the Region 6 title. Our women's cross country team won the title in the fall. Our indoor women's team won during the indoor season, obviously, and now we're trying to complete the third leg of the Triple Crown for the women on the outdoor here this weekend in Hutchinson, Kansas for the Region 6 championships.
So how do you prepare your sprinters differently than some of the other athletes might have to prepare for an event like this? Like, what are some drills that your sprinters do to prepare?
Well, like I said, we train kind of easy one day, hard workout the next. So there are days you will see us out on the track doing short sprints, explosive type sprints in our spikes. The next day you may see us out on the soccer field just doing some easier work, less stress on your ankles, your knees, your ball and joint sockets, your overall body, just trying to let the body rest. So it's kind of, we train hard one day, we let the body rest the next. So that cycle kind of repeats itself each week and each month.
And with your sprinters having multiple events, what do they do to kind of stay going throughout the day? Like, their events aren't back-to-back. Sure. What are some things that they have to do to keep their body right to compete in each event?
Well, like any sport, hydration's number one. We try to hydrate all our athletes prior to any warm-up. 45 minutes to an hour before the warm-up. We initially want them to have a very good warm-up that lasts anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. Once they complete that warm-up, it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the day. We want them to compete and do their best in their event. We want them to warm down after each event, which takes 5 or 10 minutes. Then if they have an hour between events, let them rest for maybe 20, 25 minutes and get a good 35, 40-minute warm-up prior to their next event. And that kind of cycles through if they have multiple races during the day. You know, that kind of warm down, hydration, warm up, it kind of keeps going throughout the day.
Many people don't expect track to have a team dynamic, but there's relays. Mostly, what's the difference between those relays and the individual events that your guys run?
Well, relays are a lot of timing. You know, when you're having a man, or like you said, Alex Sanders, our top sprinter, coming into Mark Sitek. Alex Sanders is running 24, 25 miles an hour to a target of Mark Sitek that's not moving. So we have to time that out where Mark Sitek takes off on a mark and gets the stick pretty much at full speed. So that takes repetition, that takes timing, that takes a lot of work. And you do that, you know, we try to do that once or twice a week. So the relays, it's more of a timing factor. We try to work on getting our exchanges right, trying to get the person that's outgoing to get the baton pretty much at full speed.
Me, I have no speed. Got the piano on my back, super slow. What little techniques can help someone like me get a little bit faster?
Well, something that was taught back to maybe your dad and myself, we were always taught to run on the balls or excuse me, get on our toes and run. Get on our toes and run. Well, it's been proven about 20, 25 years ago that's not right. That's not the best technique a man or woman can run. Run on the balls of your feet. Less likely to have injuries with your hamstrings, your quads. So there are exercises, those are drills that we do on a daily basis. If you see our team out there, they're holding on to a fence, they're doing leg swings, they're doing different types of claw exercises that we talk about actually when they're looking one way or the other and they're actually just running in place, so to speak. So those are some of the things, the techniques that have been kind of evolved over the last 20 or 30 years in track and field.
When you see athletes come in here, obviously they have potential, they have raw ability. What's the things that you look for to make them better in your program? Because you get some athletes that have that raw ability, but they might run with their arms all over the place, going crazy. How do you kind of rein them in and teach the fundamentals to those athletes?
Just like any other sport, it's just repetition. We do arm swings. If you walk into the weight room, first thing we have our dumbbells in our hands, and we're doing arm swings. Just looking in the mirror and just watching our arms, being very concise, very efficient with our arms. Because like you said, just like you were showing how your arms are side to side, that's probably one of the #1 mistakes that I have with high school athletes coming in. And just overall body strength, we have a great weight program here. Steve Taylor gets our athletes in September. We start training weights, and I think just overall body strength really helps our young men and women sprinters really produce and evolve into potential Division I, Division II athletes once they leave here.
And you do coach both the men's and women's sprinters. How do you kind of balance that time with coaching both squads?
Probably 75% of the time we train together. When we run a workout, whether it's a sprint workout on the track, whether it's an easy workout on the grass, you know, we can separate the groups into men and women. Their times obviously are a little different. There are days though I bring in the women just to work specifically, whether it's the relay, whether it's block starts. So there's a time frame where I can actually keep my eyes strictly on them and my focus strictly on them. And then a lot of times the gentlemen will come in after the women come in and train.
Another question people always have is the hurdlers. How do the hurdlers have to kind of be like their own little section? A lot of the talk was RG3 in football.
Sure.
He was a hurdler, and people were talking about his world-class speed, but he ran hurdles. He was like, it's a little different than what people may think. What's the difference?
Well, like I said, it's a barrier. There's not too many things in track and field where you actually have a barrier. There's 10 barriers, so there's different techniques. You have to be very flexible. Usually your hurdlers are probably 10, 20, 30% more flexible than most sprinters, and they have to be. They're clearing it on the guys' side. There's a 42-inch barrier in front of you 10 times, 9.1 meters apart. So the flexibility and repetition, once again, it's like anything, repetition, working the right technique. Hurdling is more of a technical event than sprinting. There are some techniques in sprinting, but hurdling, it's a lot of repetition, going over hurdles, whether you're working your lead leg or your trail leg. Those are the two aspects that you really need to work on, for hurdling.
All right, let's let everybody out there kind of know a little bit more about you. What sports did you compete in?
I was mainly a track athlete in high school, and also competed at Northwest Missouri State. Was fortunate enough to run on a fast 4x4 that's still a school record today, 27 years later, was All-American. I also had some schooling left, so I went out and played football for Northwest Missouri State. This is the time prior to their dominance. They've dominated Division II football the last 15, 16 years. We were lucky to be a 500 team back then. But I enjoyed football. I thought sometime down the road when I was 20, 22 years old at that time playing football, I might want to coach football. No. Not with the hours that football coaches put in. You know, Bob Stoops, if you're making Bob Stoops' salary, okay. But if you're making high school coach's salary at $4,000 a semester to work 120 hours a week, I'd much rather put my energy towards track and field.
And that was my next question. What drew you to coaching track?
It's just something I enjoyed it. I had a passion for it. I still have a passion for it. I enjoy just talking about it. I'll go out with a couple of my coaching buddies and we'll just sit and talk and track all night. We'll be the only 2 or 3 coaches in Kansas City maybe doing that, while other people are doing probably more productive things. I just love the sport. I have a passion for it, and it's just something that I've always wanted to do, and I'm going to keep on doing.
Last question. Right now, if you got in the blocks, what would your 200 time be?
200 meters, I could probably run 25.5 out of the blocks. So there's probably 2 or 3 girls on our team that probably could put it on me pretty good.
All right, thanks for joining us today, Coach. Everyone out there, thanks for joining us. Make sure you tune in to the rest of the Cavalier Sports Reports on the Johnson County YouTube page. Until next time, we're out.